Hello, it's Gary Jordan with the Jordan Property Group and broker by eXp Realty. Today we have a special guest I'm very happy to work with, Trish Giassa. Trish is a veteran in the real estate field. I'm going to let Trish tell you her story, but she has lots of nuggets and words of wisdom. Hello, Trish. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Gary. That's a lovely introduction. Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate being here. And, like most people, I love talking about me. So this is a great opportunity and going to have a little fun with it.
Well, that's great. Well, the story's going to be about you today. And just to start off, Trish, tell us about how you got started in real estate and kind of your real estate journey from starting off to where you are today.
Sure. So real estate was not something I thought I would do. I was in direct marketing in Manhattan, New York City, and had the opportunity to move to Boulder, Colorado. And when that happened, my career was just not possible. There was no telecommuting back in those days. And so I had to look for a new career. I interviewed our real estate broker, who was amazing. He was really good. And I also interviewed a travel agent because I love to travel. And I concluded that I wanted to get into real estate because you can't make enough money in the travel industry. So literally it was a career decision for something that I thought I would like, that I could get into pretty quickly, didn't require a huge investment of time. Class back those days were like 30 hours or something, and no capital to be, really not much capital. It was all, the capital was me. So I got into real estate. And that was back in the day when I moved to Boulder. So I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know anything about Boulder. So kind of three strikes, right? Starting off, my broker, Tony Waleski, who's still a dear friend. I loved him then. I still love him now. We're still friends, 30 years later. And he handed me a phone book and he said, Trish, call everybody with an Italian surname. Now, something that I think is important to note there is I was so new. I didn't know anything. I just did it because I didn't have a drunk monkey telling me, well, people don't answer the phone. They might hang up on you or whatever. So I picked up the phone and I called people and I built my business from cold calling everybody with an Italian surname in Boulder. That actually worked out very well. And
so let me say, you mean that picking up a telephone and calling a stranger wasn't fatal? It wasn't fatal?
Nope. He actually gave me a couple of tips because I said, what am I going to say? He says, well, ask if they're interested in finding out what their home is worth. And if they say no, ask them if they know somebody else who might be. I was okay. And he also told me that most people are not going to be interested. Some people might even be rude and hang up on me, but to not take it personally because they don't know me. So they're not hanging up on me. They're it was just the way it was. And he says, it's going to take about 12 to 15 calls to get a lead. So every time I would get to the phone, I would have a little pen and I would just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would keep doing that. And every time somebody said no, it was like, okay, next.
Sure. That's great.
Right, because I had to get, I knew what my odds were. Thanks to Tony, I knew what my odds were. So I just worked those odds and it worked out. It was a very simple and yet effective strategy. That's all I did the first few months. That's how I built that business.
So you're making calls, Trish. How many hours per day were you banging that phone and calling it out of the phone book?
I don't even know. I mean, it's 35 years ago, but it was a lot. It was a lot.
Like you said, it's not very complicated, really not. And
I had, there was no mojo back in the day, so I actually had to dial.
Sure. Well, where did that take you? Starting off with such a simple concept, but a system that was shown to you by an experienced pro. How long did it take you get to rolling, and where did that end up for you from a production standpoint down the road?
So my first year was pretty dismal. I made $4,997.68 from February to December. So very, very sad. But I built a pipeline during that time. And so my second year, I made $25,000. Now, think back, 1986, my average sale price was about 120. So that was pretty darn good. And it was at that point, my second year, that I got a call from Remax. And Remax was brand new pretty much. In fact, the franchise that I joined, Remax of Boulder, is one of the first few franchises for Remax, one of the first ones. So they called us because, I don't know, they wanted some fresh blood or something. It was not back in the day, they didn't recruit. And they said, well, we're a new concept. We're 100%. You have to pay, a 30th, there were 30 of us, a 30th of all the expenses. That's the rent, that's the salaries, that's the paper clips, that's the coffee and cleaning and everything. It comes to about $1,200 a month. And that was really scary. But at the same time, I'm looking 50-50 versus 100%. And I knew what I could do because I had been doing it. So I said, Tony, thank you so much. And let's stay friends. And I went over to Remax. I proceeded to grow a really great business. I was with Remax 18 years. A couple of different franchises, but always with those 18 years with Remax. Great company. I have to say, I really enjoyed the Boulder part of Remax. I did move back to New Jersey, and well, that was different.
Were you doing real estate in New Jersey also?
Well, yeah. At that point, it was my vocation, if you will. So 9 of us who were at Remax decided that we wanted to have our own brokerage. So we did that. We left and together started a brokerage. We were all top agents. So from day one, we had 25% market share in our little community. And but I found that it was very time consuming, hard, and lonely being an independent broker. I spent so much time on the running of the business that I wasn't selling as much. And most of the money I made was from selling.
Sure. Now,
So
being an independent broker, then what were your biggest challenges in hindsight being 2020?
Well, recruiting, because, we're competing with the likes of Keller Williams, Remax, Sotheby's, you name it, and Coldwell Banker and Weichert are all big in that area and well established. So recruiting was big. Just every little thing, like when we needed a copier early on, we had to research what is our best option. When we needed to create our sign and all our marketing, we had to create all that, hire someone. We didn't do it ourselves, but still it required management. And that just took us away from selling, all of us. So about 5 years after that, I had some life changes, and I took that opportunity to leave the brokerage, sell my share, and go to Keller Williams. And what I liked about Keller Williams was they seemed to have a really great culture. One of my good friends was the team leader, so I knew that would work out well because I loved her and we got along great. And they had a cap. So unlike Coldwell Banker and all these other offices that at the time, they didn't have a cap. The cap was pretty high. It's $35,000, but we were producing about $40 million a year. During that period, I went from $10 million to $40 million. And so $35,000 was relatively cheap, right?
Yeah, I mean, $40 million producer is no big deal. It's
Right.
a hiccup.
Right. Right. And, sometimes we lose sight of that because, right, right now what our cap is and versus 35, that's $19,000. And when you're looking at what the GCI is for a $40 million producer, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to upset the apple cart for only $19,000. But $19,000 is a great vacation. It's maybe the down payment on an investment, a small investment property. I don't know. It could be a great gift for someone who really needs it. So, yeah, $19,000 is good.
Well, let me ask you, you've got a deep background in real estate, both in production, being very successful, also being involved with two well-known, flagship franchises, Remax and Keller Williams, both great companies.
Absolutely.
Had your own independent brokerage, which is a big step that a lot of people want to take within real estate. Why aren't you still there?
Well, I think I spoke to, I really loved Remax in Colorado. I did not love it in New Jersey. And it just wasn't a good fit for me. Nothing wrong with it. I still have friends there. They're happy there. That's all cool. But, we're all different. So we all have different needs. Independent, just too much darn work and not, a lot of babysitting, a lot of stuff. Right. And the legal liability, the constant worry, it just wasn't. And when we weren't, providing our agents with anything better than they can get someplace else either. Actually, we had less because we were little. We didn't have the resources.
Sure.
Keller Williams, I absolutely love. I had no intention of leaving. When I moved back to Colorado, to Boulder from New Jersey, my intention was to join Keller Williams here. I drank all the Kool-Aid, and I was a bold graduate 3 times over. I was a MAPS mastery coaching client. I paid a lot for that. I did the career visioning. I went to every family reunion and mega camp. I was a part of luxury. I did everything at Keller Williams, and I loved it. It was perfect. I thought it was the best game in town. And then when I got to Boulder, there was not a Keller Williams in Boulder. And so I said, And I noticed that a couple of my good friends at Keller Williams, who I'd met at family reunion and such, I respected them. They had great businesses. They were smart people. I could trust them. And some of them have gone to this company called EXP. And I'm like, what the heck is that? So I called my friend Sherry Elliott and I said, Sherry, what's up with that? Why did you leave Keller Williams and what is EXP? So she told me about it. And, when they say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Well, that's what we say. That was me. My husband, who is a retired mechanical engineer with 35 patents and master's from Columbia, is really smart with things like spreadsheets and analysis and all that. He said, well, it sounds too good to be true. Let me see if I can poke holes in it. So for about a week, he just went at it and he asked a lot of questions and he researched and he ran spreadsheets frontwards and backwards. And at the end of the week, he said, I can't find the problem here. It's an opportunity. And it's an opportunity that if we don't take, we're going to regret. And I'm like, yay, because I really want to do it.
Well, this kind of lucky by accident that you ran across this strange word called EXP because you knew, it's Sherry Elliott, right?
Yes, Sherry Elliott. Yep, I'm grateful to her. So grateful.
Very, very interesting. What was the main thing about this EXP model? And I'll be honest, 3 years ago when I was approached, I never heard of it before either. I didn't know what they were talking about. And I was busy. I was with Remax and a great company. And I was very hesitant to even take a look at it because what I was doing, it wasn't broken. And I always believe if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
And so, but anyway, it's all about taking the time to be open-minded to take a look at something. I did reluctantly, but I'm happy I did reluctantly take a look at it and paid attention enough. Key thing is paid attention enough to see what the presentation and the opportunity actually was?
Well, it's not only that, Gary. You have to have an open mind. If you look at something and you're just saying no, 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 like a little kid, little kids do that. It's like they close their eyes and tighten up, and of course that's all not literal, but you have to have an open mind to actually see the opportunity, and that's with any opportunity, really.
Sure. Well, as a business owner, Trish, I know you're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur with an independent broker in the past and so forth, and with the EXP model now, you're definitely an entrepreneur. What's the key thing about your current situation and your current real estate model you're working with that appeals to you as a entrepreneur and a business owner?
So, I've been working since I was 12 years old, and I've always been a saver and an investor and a builder. And, all along as an independent contractor and owning my own business, the only way I could build a retirement is, there's a couple of ways, right? Buy and own rental property, which is great if I had started doing that 30 years ago, but I didn't. And it's not too late, by the way. You can still do it. It's not as easy. The looking forward, 35 years in the business, I'm looking forward to playing more tennis, skiing, hiking, doing more coaching and mentoring. I'm a certified mentor at EXP, and I just graduated a mentee today. So yay, Joaquin.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. He's awesome. So I want to do more of that stuff versus of the day-to-day grind of real estate that, over thousands of homes. I've loved doing that. But I want to get on to the next thing, and I don't want to be poor. So I've saved plenty of money, but it's not enough. I mean, if you just think about inflation lately, if you have $100,000 and that could keep you going for a year, now it's going to keep you going for about 8 months with the cost of things. So I really wanted to have a retirement. And when I looked at EXP, I liked the lower cap because I was saving right off the bat $19,000. I loved, KV Core is amazing. It's a really great lead generation tool. It's a great lead conversion tool as well. I don't hear that as much, but we use it as a lead conversion tool, and it works really well. I love that I could go to a meeting from anywhere. I don't have to get in the car, get all dressed up, right? Shoes, the works, get in the car, drive someplace, find parking, and Boulder and Summit, both those 2 miles away is still 20 minutes door to door.
Sure.
So that's 40 minutes a day that I could spend doing something productive for me, for my business, for my family, for my health. So I love that. And I love the stock because 18 years at RE/MAX, I have nothing to show for it. I learned things. So I got that to show for it, right? But nothing financial. Keller Williams is a little bit better with profit share, but it's not a lot. I make something like, I don't know, $2,000 a year, which is not, it's going to buy me a couple of dinners out, a couple of really nice dinners, actually.
Nice dinners.
Right. But that's not going to help me retire. So, the final piece of the attraction for me with EXP is that if I choose to attract agents to EXP, I get rewarded very well. And I don't have to do that. It is my choice. I can do as little or as much as I want. The reality is that I have over 35 years, a lot of relationships with people that I really like and care about. And I love this model. So I do want to share it with people I care about and I like, because maybe you could do that for them, right?
Well, the key thing, that's right. Sharing with somebody you know, like, and trust that also respects you. It's almost, I feel like, it's almost an injustice not to let them know about what the opportunity is. I sometimes fear getting a phone call from one of my good real estate friends that I've totally forgot to talk to, calls me 5 years ago and said, Gary, why didn't you tell me about this 5 years
Right.
ago? I'm gonna feel bad about that. And nothing is guaranteed in life.
Mm-mm.
Having a wonderful career with Remax or Keller Williams or EXP, none of that's guaranteed unless you work hard.
Right.
But I just feel like, and I think you'll concur, Trish, that if you work hard with this system, with this model, and you have a good system and you're consistent with it over a period of time, not in 30 days, but over a period of time, some wonderful things, some life-changing things will happen for you and for your family.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And, I having been at different companies, I know it's really not fun changing companies. Right? Like you have to change your signature on everything on social media, get new signs. And although having to tell everybody that you change companies, I think is a plus, because every time I did that, which isn't that many times, but each time I did do that, I got more business because
Sure.
I was reaching out to my clients, my buyers and sellers, and saying, hey, I'm so excited. I have just moved to eXp Realty and it's really great. And I'm going to be able to support you in your real estate goals even better than before. And they'd say, oh, great. And by the way, we're thinking of buying next year, blah, blah, blah.
We know
And
an old proverb that's so true is your clients, they're not buying from the brand you're carrying or the flag you're waving. They're buying from Trish. They're
yeah,
buying from Gary. They don't care whether it's a Remax balloon or whether it's a Keller Williams red card or a EXP, whatever. They're buying from you no matter who you work for.
yep. Yeah, I think, one of the things I look at, I know of this amazing agent who does amazing business. And I know a lot of those. And I think about it, right? Those agents are the ones making those companies great, not the
Well,
other way around.
well
Because
said. Well
every
said.
company provides a lot of support and a lot of tools. But if you could have any company, right? And you have 100 agents and you have a top producer up here doing amazing business, and then you have somebody doing nothing. So that can't be the company, and everything in between, right? Can't be the company. Otherwise, they'd all be great agents.
No, you're so right. Now, switching the line of thinking in this conversation just a little bit, Trish. Right now, everything you hear is doom and gloom. Right now,
Oh,
I have a shift in the economy. We got higher interest rates than we had before, which were almost nothing before. We have a so-called recession going on. We've got some wars going on, and of course, the press just thrives on negativity sells and so forth. But as a professional business owner, realtor like yourself, what would you say would be the biggest words of wisdom to the realtor who is worried, who is seeing a real downturn in slow time right now? What would you say to that person how to handle this next 12 months?
and I've been through this a few times, right? I even started in a shift, if you will. I think the best advice I could give someone, whether a seasoned or a new agent, but especially a new agent, is forget the last 2 years. Just put that behind you and learn the basics and do the basics. It's almost going back to me 35 years ago with that phone book, right? I asked, who should I call? What should I say? And I just did it.
It's pretty basic.
It's pretty basic. And there's a lot of different ways you can generate leads, but it's a belly to belly kind of business. It's a relationship business. So find somebody to have find many somebodies to have relationships with, or if you have relationships, deepen those relationships. Don't be a secret agent, and ask for their help. If you ask me for help, I'll be there. Gary, anytime for you and anyone who's listening to this. People love to help. That's why we're in this business. Because
Exactly.
So, yeah, ask for help, get back to basics, and forget the last 2 years.
Very well said. Listen, Trish, I really appreciate your time today. I'm going to finish up by saying this, that no matter what kind of business you might be in, those of you watching out there right now, this is an opportunity for you to do some exceptional things over the next year or 2 or 3 as everybody else is running for cover. If you're in real estate or whatever kind of business you're in, I highly recommend to you to plug into a system that is proven to work, plug into a good mentor, be around people who are successful, who are doing it versus just talking about it. Because I can promise you, you're going to become like who you're around. Mm-hmm. And I was fortunate many years ago, not too many years ago, probably about 8 years ago, to be exposed to a really good system that works for real estate and any kind of business. It was called the Working by Referral System. Yep. By Brian Buffini and Company. I've used that system now for about 8 years. I actually am a certified class facilitator with Buffini and Company. So I teach this system on a regular basis. No compensation to me. You don't get paid for teaching it. But my big reward every year I teach this class or this course is it reminds me of the little things I haven't been doing. It puts me back in the center of the road to do the things right. So I'm excited to say I'm going to be conducting another Pathway to Mastery Essentials course beginning on January the 10th of this year via Zoom. So anybody out there, no matter what kind of business you're in, you're welcome to join us. It's an 8-week course. We meet once per week for 2 hours, and we have action items, and we hold each other accountable. But I can promise you, if you take this course and you work this course and do what you're taught to do, you do the action items every week, and you continue throughout the next year or 2, I can promise you, your ROI, your return on income, is going to be fantastic. It's going to make you a lot more sales, whether you're selling bags of peanuts or whether you're selling real estate. This Working by Referral System is a winner. So if you have any questions about it, any interest in more information, you can call me or instant message me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to share some more information to you. But my phone number, you'll see down below, is 719-502-7176. Any parting final comments, Trish?
I think anyone who wants to bulletproof their business for next year needs to go to this course, Gary. That sounds awesome.
It's a great course. I'm looking forward to it. And listen, hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a Merry Christmas, Trish. Now, thank you so much for your time today. You provide us a lot of good nuggets that I learned from too. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Gary. Same to you and your family. And again, thank you for having me here. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, great. Hang on here.